for your time today. If you can just give an overview about the projects that we've been working together, that would be amazing.
Yeah, of course, Alex. It's a pleasure. I can go back, gosh, several months now of when we brought you on board. I'm Jen Fischer. I work for a mid-sized bank here, and we are growing so quickly that we needed to get our SharePoint site in order for human resources. We had an abysmal little site, and it wasn't a great user experience, and our users are our employees, and we care greatly about our employees and them accessing all the wonderful things that they need to be able to see and use and utilize in terms of what HR has on offer. And so Alex, when we got you on board, we already had what we thought was a plan. And you came in, you said, yeah, I can definitely help get that look and feel and help you with your structure. And then as we scratched the surface, we realized that the plan that we had was probably half baked at best. And so you really stuck with us in figuring out the plan and executing at the same time, all to reach a launch of a brand new SharePoint site for our HR at our bank here. It was quite the journey that we were on.
Right. Yeah. And we had quite a great team to work together, collaboration between each team members and find the right solution and right point of contacts and squeeze as much as possible from those tools and access that we had available. That was amazing. And I'm glad that we made it work. So yeah, sure. Thank you for this. In terms of the operational perspective, how satisfied are you with the timeline delivery? Did we have any budget scope creeps, and so on? So can you give some feedback on that?
Yeah, well, firstly, I want to say to your point about how, we're all collaborating to get it done. It was great that you just got stuck in right away. And you never shied away from the work when it got more complicated or we ended up with more questions than we did answers. So it was nice to have that sense of stability from you around we'll figure it out, we're gonna make it happen. And yeah, there's a way around this. For all the moments where I had this moment of, oh my gosh, I don't know how we're going to address this. You had a sense of peace of yeah, that's a new question, but we will figure it out. And that was hugely comforting. Gosh, in terms of deadlines, we had one point at which I thought from our subject matter experts who we needed them to give us content to load it. It was clear that we weren't going to meet the initial very ambitious deadline that we set for ourselves. And that was, I think, part of the whirlwind that you had walked into, which was, we're going to try to meet this deliverable. We don't have the content that we need. We don't have the structure of the architecture for the site that we thought we already had. And so you were there as we were reworking the plan and also trying to deliver some sort of initial deadlines. And so we did move the deadline once, but I think that was as you were coming on board. So you helped us then rescope a more reasonable deadline and then stick to it. And boy, did we deliver. That was a big launch. It was a big deal for HR. Everyone was really excited about it to see it up and running. And we got really big foot traffic too, because it went up, we were testing that weekend to make sure that everything was working. And then Monday it was live, it was communicated to the enterprise, and there were people in the site right from the get-go. We saw quite a lot of hits come through immediately, didn't we? So you were there to help us rework the plan to be feasible and then deliver on it. And for me, that was well within what we had originally budgeted as well. So I felt hugely comfortable in that rework. In fact, it was a lot more feasible than our first plan that we had.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you for that. As always, there are a lot of moving pieces and team members, and it's not always up to us, I guess,
right.
To deliver, just on time. So yeah, there were some changes in scope, but finally we met there and site was live. So everything was as it's supposed to. So that's great. And probably the last question, you probably already answered that as well, but overall your level of satisfaction working together, and would you recommend working someone else with a Chiron down the road as well?
Yeah. Well, I already did recommend you to someone else. So yeah, you thought your time with us is going to be finishing, but it turns out there's another team on our at a company that would love to utilize you as well. And that was for me a very easy thing to do, to say, yeah, you're going. I'll tell you what I actually said, because he reached out to me and he said, I'm looking for a SharePoint developer. You know, who would you recommend? And I said, well, Alex has so much expertise in SharePoint, more than you probably need. But it's also handy to have it. If something does get complicated, then he's got the expertise to come up with some solutions. Also, you will get exactly what you ask for. And there is options that he brings to the table, because there's 101 ways that you can do the same thing in SharePoint. And so Alex has always been there as a guide to be like, well, we could do it this way, or we could do it this way. And here's kind of what you have to give and take with each of these options. And for him, and he went through several different people to source SharePoint developers to help him with his initiative. And he was like, I'm going with Jen's recommendation. It made it a very clear decision for him.
Right. Yeah. And thank you so much for this referrals, and help with extending the project and switch us between teams. I think this is already going to be like third interaction probably from that initial ones that we had. After that, we had the support phase to support the internet portal and all the users with the documentation and proper content on the site. And now it's going to be something new for jobs and hiring. So
That's right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate really the feedback. So I think that's all we need for now.
Yeah, I'm happy to. It's a pleasure working with you, Alex. Thank you for all you've done.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.